Hi Kenneth, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Fine. I mean, obviously, as I mentioned last week, the purpose of today's session is to talk about exercise and how that's going to fit into your sort of self-management. I mean, obviously, the purpose of me here today is to become more independent. I'm not going to be here all the time to help you manage away is a condition that you sort of need to be self-managing. Before we sort of go any further, what is your sort of opinion on exercise? Obviously, I want to know if it's something that you're willing to try. I mean, what are your sort of views?
I mean, I'd like to exercise and things, I know it has health benefits, but it's just the pain really.
Yeah.
I don't really get how exercise is going to reduce the pain. I just it normally just makes it worse.
Yeah, and the reason I ask that is that's a really common thing that people say. I mean, obviously, by moving, you can put more pressure on the joint, and that's going to make it sort of a bit more painful. But people have the misconception that by not moving, you're going to deal with the pain. And while it might be true in the short term, obviously by stopping moving, you're not going to put the pressure on the joint. In the long term, it's actually going to make the pain worse. And this is because it's sort of a pain cycle. So you get your pain, you stop moving, but ultimately that causes your muscles to become weak. So around the hip, you've got sort of muscles which help to stabilise and support the hip joint. If they become weak, that's going to trigger sort of pain. It's going to make it really hard to do anything functional. So now at the moment you're sort of struggling with your standing, from chairs, going upstairs and things. And if we keep not moving, that's just going to get worse over time, and it's just going to make your pain worse. There's quite a bit of evidence, so sort of research that suggests that exercise can actually reduce pain in the long term. And obviously the idea is we need to make it a long-term option. So we need to try and work out how we can do exercise to make it an effective long-term option for you. I mean, does that starting to make a bit more sense?
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. I mean, does it mean that I have to go to like a gym or like an exercise class or?
Well, I mean, that's completely up to you. You've got exercise that you can do at home, so I could do a home exercise program with you. You could go to a group, so that would be where you sort of get a physiotherapist or a training instructor would run a class for sort of base and targeted OA. And you do it with other people who have similar things, or you could do a mix of both. It's basically what you would find best and what you would prefer.
I mean, I think I prefer to do it at home just because I don't drive, so there's like transport issues. I think I just feel more comfortable doing it.
And that's completely fine. I mean, to be honest, there is evidence to say that group classes might be a bit better, possibly because you've got the support. But again, there's evidence to say that home exercises are just as effective, and doing a mix again is effective. I think it's basically what you're going to stick to. So if for you home exercise program is what you think is going to work, then that's obviously going to be what we're going to use, because we want you to stick to it in the long term to get the benefits. I mean, I can give you some information, leaflets and sheets about group classes and sort of things in the local area, so if you do change your mind, that's absolutely fine as well. So if I sort of run through a home exercise program and sort of what sort of things we'd be doing, and then we can sort of see from there where we'd go.
That's fine.
So obviously the basic content of home exercise program is to try and strengthen the muscles around your hip. So everything sort of in standing, in sitting, possibly in lying. Main thing with home exercise program is making it achievable for you. I mean, some people like to do it in blocks, some people like to break it down. What do you think would sort of be an issue for you doing a home exercise program at home?
I mean, I think it would just be the time. Like, I have quite a busy sort of routine already, and I don't have sort of a few hours to dedicate just to doing that really.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. So what we could do, and what I could do with quite a few other people, is similar to what we were talking about last week about pacing. So now I was telling you to sort of pace sort of your tidying up and sort of hoovering and things like that. You can sort of apply that to exercise. So what we could do is say split up your bed exercises. So in the morning when you wake up, you could be doing them on the beds. That would just be things like bridges, so where you just lay flat and you just raising your bump off the bed. But obviously don't worry about that, because we will run through that when I come out and visit you and make sure we get the technique. But you'd say do 10 reps of 4 exercises in the morning. It'd take about 2 minutes, and that would be that set done. Till the later on that night before you go to bed, you could do them again. Your one's in standing. So when you're making your lunch and you're waiting for the microwave, you could be holding onto the kitchen sink and just doing some squats. And then one's in sitting, so say on an evening you watch Coronation Street, in the morning you watch This Morning. When the adverts for them come on, just try and do some sit to stand practice. I can give you a TheraBand, which is basically a big bit of elastic, and that provides resistance. And you can have different colours, and that would just make things a bit more difficult. So we can always progress the exercises on if you find them too easy. And on the other hand, if you find them too challenging, we can make them a bit easier as well. So if I know a big issue for you is tiredness and fatigue. So if you find that you're getting a bit tired, maybe just miss out a set. Obviously don't push yourself too hard. Push yourself, but not to the point where you're getting pain when you're doing the exercises. If you find that an exercise does give you pain, stop doing it. I mean, what I'll do is I'll come and visit you at home, and I'll give you maybe a week or two just to get into them and have a practice. If you find that they're giving you pain, just stop or give me a ring, and we can sort of change them about. I mean, does that sort of sound okay? Yeah. I mean, a big issue, obviously, like you said, is getting it into your routine. I think the problem with exercise is adherence and getting you to stick to it. So, I mean, if you think pacing is something that we can try, then we can give it a go and see. I mean, putting on music if you get a bit bored, that's a really good idea as well. I know obviously for you walking is a big part of your life, and that's sort of one of your main goals is to get back to hill walking. And I know last time you said that your neighbour's got a dog. I know you're a bit unsteady on your feet. It's not necessarily you walking the dog, but just asking if you can go on a walk with them. Just a short walk around the block, say 5-10 minutes. Get your TENS machine on, because I know you said that's been working. Get that on, then just going on a short walk, and hopefully we can try and build that up a bit over time and get you back to sort of your hill walking. I think we just need to try and think about what the benefits of exercise are, and I think that's going to be key to getting you to stick to it to the long term. So obviously thinking about the fact that long-term pain is going to reduce, thinking about your mood, you're going to get something called endorphins, which just makes you feel a bit better about yourself. It's going to give you that independence, help you continue with things you enjoy. I mean, I know you've got asthma. It's going to help to improve sort of your breathing as well. It might help with your lungs a bit. It may help to improve some of those symptoms as well. I mean, how does that sound? Do you think that's something that you'd be willing to try? I mean, we can always give it a go, and then if we find that it's not working for you, we can have a look at some different things. I mean, there's loads of ways you can achieve exercise. Groups, so you could go like Tai Chi, there's swimming. I mean, avoid sort of breaststrokes that could aggravate the hip, but even just sort of wading through the water, doing some lengths. There's loads of different options, but I think if we try pacing and we see how we get on, and then, okay, does that sound alright?
Thank you.